Hi, I told you about one type of psychopathy that is caused by the combination of the narcissistic mother and the sociopathic, psychopathic cold father with no body contact. But there is another type of psychopathy that is caused by the combination of the any narcissistic woman that influences the child most of the time, and any sociopathic man that influences a child most of the time. So actually it's a combination of the narcissism and sociopathy in one person, in one child, and then in one adult. So, and I will start my story with my ex-friend. So she's a Ukrainian friend, a wife of my husband's Pakistani husband. And she is also a psychopath because every time she invited me to the family gatherings, um, I refused. So anytime I refused, it took a lot of time for me to explain why I couldn't come, so not to let her feel upset. But she doesn't have this story connected with the cold father. She told me about her childhood. She was raised by the narcissistic mother who humiliated and spanked her, and by the stepfather. But she saw the aggressive behavior of her stepfather against her mother. So the stepfather never physically abused her, but he physically abused her mother, and it was enough for her to be scared so much that she became a sociopath. So she is a narcissist and a sociopath in one person. And now I want to move to my daughter. So in the shelter, I wrote this sentence: my biggest fear that my daughter can be a psychopath. And actually, at that moment, it was true. Because I couldn't trust my baby with my daughter. She wasn't empathetic at all. For example, when we lived in that house with my husband, for example, I was in the bathroom, my baby was sleeping in the bedroom, and my daughter was in the other room. And if my baby started crying, my daughter never paid attention to this. If I heard this in the bathroom, it's 100% she heard this in her room. Yes, but she never paid attention to this crying, and she never came to the baby. But when my daughter felt, realized and accepted the shame because of this my thought, she stopped to be a narcissist, and she stopped to be a psychopath. Now she is more empathetic, and I can trust a baby with her. If she hears that he cries, she goes to him. So what I want to say that with the first type of psychopathy, it's almost impossible to make people get rid of that psychopathy, because they don't want to admit their their closet homosexuality. In that type of psychopathy, they need to admit this by themselves. But in this type of psychopathy, everything depends on other people, so, or other circumstances. If under some circumstances people get rid of one of the personality disorders, they get rid of the psychopathy. And with that type of psychopathy, people usually are tyrants. So they deal with the domestic violence. But with this type of psychopathy, they deal with the society. So if to think logically, there are two types of people with this type of psychopathy. Common people, if they just observe their cruel behavior against their moms, if they just witness this, so they are not abused by themselves. In this case, they're just common girls. But again, dear men, if your daughters witness your aggressive behavior against your wives, be sure that your daughters will also tolerate this behavior against them. So their husbands will abuse them physically, and they will just accept this. They will take it as a just a common type of behavior. So, and now, if to think logically, we can just think about criminals and prostitutes. So if a girl is humiliated by her father, and humiliated by her mother, so she is a psychopath, because she combines narcissism and sociopathy in her, and she can be a prostitute. If she is humiliated by her mother and her father, and she is abused physically by her father, she is a psychopath who combines narcissism and sociopathy in her, and she can be a prostitute with BDSM. If a boy is humiliated by his mom and his father, just humiliated, he can rape other women. And if a boy is humiliated by his mom and humiliated and abused, physically abused by his father or other men, so it can be any other man who influences a child most of the time, so he can be a criminal. And here you see sometimes people after prison, people tend to change. They want to start a new life. Why it happens so? Just because in prisons very often men are raped. They are humiliated sexually, and when it happens, they realize this shame and they accept this, and at this point they stop being narcissists, and at the same time they stop being psychopath, so they're just sociopath. And very often when it happens, the prison really changes a man, and they want to start a new life after prison. And another more serious type of criminals. So when these psychopaths who combine narcissism and sociopathy in them, they develop schizophrenia. Sorry for my pronunciation. And in this case, they become serial maniacs or killers, but not those killers who kill just to earn money, but those killers who kill for pleasure. So in such a way, I believe that there is another type of psychopathy that is a combination of the narcissism and sociopathy in one person, but it can be caused by any woman who influences a child in the childhood, who humiliates or spanks a child. So it can be any relative, a grandma, any relative, or even a babysitter, and it can be any sociopathic man who influences a child most of the time. So not only a father, a stepfather, again maybe a male babysitter or somebody like that. So thank you, bye bye.